Welcome. In this lecture, we're going to look at Rondo form and the piano piece called For Elise. So For Elise. For Elise is probably one of Beethoven's most popular compositions. It's written for solo piano. In fact, many emerging pianists strive to learn this piece, and it's definitely a famous piece in the media, on TV, seen in movies, and so forth. Um, and during Beethoven's lifetime, the piece really wasn't known, and it was found years later and published about 40 years after his death. Um, the identity of Elise still kind of remains a mystery, and many scholars have written books. Is it one of his students? Is it a lover? There have been many theories. We still don't have a definitive answer of who Elise was. Now, the reason why I selected this piece was I think it's a great example of what rondo form is about. Okay. In addition, it's a piece that everyone knows, everyone's familiar with this piece, which makes it much easier to teach rondo form. Now, rondo form it's a structural form where you're going to have an A section that returns throughout the entire piece. In this example, this is what we call a five-part rondo form. So we're going to have an A section. We'll transition to some different material, and then the A section is going to come back. And then we'll transition to even newer material, which we call C section, and then we'll return back to the A section. Okay. Other things about this piece, it's written in the key of A minor. The tempo has a moderate tempo, and the work it has is in triple meter. So the piece opens up with the A section. It opens up with the main melody. And the main melody has these two kind of oscillating notes that go back and forth, and then a series of arpeggios after that. Let's listen to the main melody. Now, after the A section is played, and it's played twice, we're going to shift into a new section, okay? And the new section, definitely the B section, it contrasts the opening section. First off, the new section's in F major, okay? And we start off with these three bright kind of chords that announce that, hey, we're changing up the material. So we have this new material, and then also note the use of the Alberti bass in the left hand. Let's listen to this B section. Now, after the B section is played, we slowly shift back to this A section again. So we go from that F major section, returning back to the A minor section. So we return to the opening material again. Let's listen for a little bit. So after we play the main theme again, we shift gears to new material. Okay, so we come to the C section. Now we're still going to be in a minor key, but the mood is going to change. We're going to have a more intense, more dramatic kind of section right here. Okay, so first thing we want to listen for is listen to that repeated note in the bass. That's going to add to the intensity. In addition, we're going to have more tension with all these diminished chords being played in the right hand. Let's go listen. So one of the things I love about this piece is the transition going from that C section where you have this big descending chromatic line that just sneaks down and goes right into that main theme of the A section again. It's a kind of a seamless organic transition. So what we have here now is Beethoven plays the A section one more time to really, it brings the work to a close. So in conclusion, this is for Elise, and it's a piano piece by Beethoven, and the form of the piece is in rondo form. It's a 5-part rondo, so it's going to have that A section that repeats. We have a B section that's a contrasting F major. We come back to the A section again. Then we have a new section, that's C section, which is kind of dramatic and intense with this repeated note in the left hand. And then we come back to the conclusion of For Elise with the repeating of the A section. Let's go back and now let's listen to the piece in its entirety on canvas. And then try, and when you're listening, try and go back and identify each of the sections.